every time you burst like that, she tries to get out the door and like go and attack and kill her. So long story short, obsessing over this, she's effectively pouring through that whole screen door.
Yeah, over time, just like scratching.
It's just Joe and Riley in that camera. Riley's the judge that you wanted.
Well, there we go, Alex.
Welcome back.
Just put Alex's lines on Riley's face.
I will. No worries. So, welcome back for matchup number dos. That means 2 in English. It is the Arbiter. Halo 2.
2 in Spanish.
Oh, yeah. It is Arbiter from Halo 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Versus
The
Dragonborn
from the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
The most repeatedly sold Elder Scroll game.
I don't know what to get out of the way before
I love Skyrim on my smart fridge. You know, it's just.
I love my Skyrim on Alexa and on my Switch and on my Xbox One and PS4 and PS5 and Xbox One X and Xbox 360 and PS3 and computer. Yeah, you know, my smartwatch, my phone.
So before we get into this battle here, one thing I want to discuss: what shout is the Dragonborn getting? Because during battle, it takes a while to switch through shouts.
You get one
Does he get the basic foos, or what shout are you giving him?
You choose one shout that the Dragonborn gets. Just one.
Because then I'll go over the Arbiter's limitation.
Because that is a good question.
This is an important question. I feel like it's in the
you have 15 seconds.
I feel like it's most in the spirit of Dragonborn to go with the Foos road. So
Foos?
Yeah, I'm
Right,
sorry.
that
The full Foos.
Okay. So Arbiter gets the active camo. It's limited though.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing per use it's limited. I looked up in Halo 2's multiplayer, when you get the active camo, it's 10 seconds, you're invisible. Is that what we're saying his active camo is for the whole tournament? 10 seconds every time he uses it.
Yeah, and we do know it does recharge. What does it take, like 40 seconds?
Yeah.
I was going to say, it does recharge.
And just like the shout recharges, it takes a while, but you can use it more
The
once.
shout does recharge. The shout recharges actually much more slowly than 40 seconds.
Yeah. Because that changes the way Arbiter fights for sure. If he gets 10 seconds of invisibility.
I don't know how long does the shout take to recharge in game time? It's like an hour in game time.
It is a while.
Like in play time. It's like what, 3 minutes or something?
Yeah. So realistically, it's probably about an hour.
Yeah.
So you're getting one shout per match, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Unless you can make this fight last an hour.
I mean, if we're going full on Predator, it might be.
Alright.
I'm saying that because the Arbiter and Invisible and now.
Alright, since you lost the last fight, Joe,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to go first or second?
I want to go second because I went first last time.
Alright. By the way, I am arguing for the Arbiter and Dragonborn. Wait, what? Alright, so first off, Arbiter, he's got his plasma rifle, plasma grenades, energy sword. That's his arsenal we bring out to this battle with. If he gets close enough to Dragonborn, energy sword's a clean kill. However, he's got to get near him first. So Arbiter can go about this 2 ways. He can stay at a distance and unload with his plasma rifle, which goes maybe like 5-10 seconds before it overheats. Maybe 5, I'd probably say close to 5.
Full auto, yeah.
So we can flush out Dragonborn no matter where Dragonborn gets. He can hammer him down, drain his health, and go decapitate him. But what I think happens is he's got 2 plasma grenades. He's unloading those as soon as the battle starts to draw him out, distract him, and do some damage. His goal is not to kill him with the plasma grenades, though. Once he throws those, and the Dragonborn is busy handling those, he's using his active camo, and he's running up, and he's gutting him with the sword. Even if they get in a sword fight, the Arbiter is still skilled enough as a warrior, because he's a high-ranking elite, that he is going to take out the Dragonborn. Worst case scenario, he unleashes his predator jaws and just rips off the Dragonborn's face. And if it does turn into a range matchup, the Dragonborn would have a bow and arrow or a crossbow versus a plasma rifle. The plasma rifle kills Marines and Spartans throughout the Halo series, as well as Covenant enemies, the Flood, and Sentinels. So if we get into a ranged battle, he can't get close enough, I'm taking the plasma rifle over Dragonborn and his arrows and bow.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
Let's do it. You make a compelling argument, you know. I feel like the Dragonborn has more counters to what the Arbiter can do than might be expected. You know, he doesn't necessarily have just one shout per hour like we were talking about. You can break the shout down into 3 separate words. The plasma grenades can be easily defeated by just a quick boost that will push them off trajectory away from him. The plasma weapons and the energy sword, would seem more deadly than straight steel weapons, but the Dragonborn has access to weapons made of materials as strong as dragon bone, which is about as hard as natural materials in that aren't energy weapons can get, and he has access to enchanted weapons, which can be enchanted to kind of block more energy-based attacks. You can have enchantments you can enchant a shield, for example, to block like frost damage or lightning damage or something like that. That might be analogous to what an energy weapon has. If you can use an enchantment like that on a shield, I feel like that eliminates a lot of the Arbiter's energy weapon abilities. Then it's just kind of person on person. The Dragonborn has maybe 2 parts of a shout remaining that'll recharge a little bit faster. He's got his own natural combat abilities, which depending on how he's specialized, could be hand to hand. With enchanted weapons, he can, as long as he can get past the laser weapons, I feel like he can take the Arbiter one-on-one.
So,
God, that felt offensive.
I have a really good question about this, and I was thinking about it as soon as Joe started getting into it, because we know the Arbiter, his equipment is 2 plasma grenades, a plasma rifle, and an energy sword, and his natural armor. We know that is all he's carrying. What is the Dragonborn's equipment? Because I know we can have it so much, but he does have that weight carry limit that slows him down. So what is our Dragonborn in this fight carrying?
Right, because he can have a 2-handed weapon, a 1-handed, and a shield.
It changes a lot of these factors. That's my big thing, is what is he coming into the battle with? Because let's also be realistic. He's not switching, like pausing battle to switch out weapons like he does in the games. It's pausing time so that the player has the chance to pick what they want. But realistically, like D&D, it would take a couple seconds to switch out your weapon. So, what is he coming to the battle with?
This is a good question. The most he could come to the battle with is full set of dragon plate armor and weapons. I feel like that's a bit of a cop out to just say he's got the best available. But let's say he's kind of like your average Skyrim player's character, right? He's an amalgamation of different items, right? So maybe he's got a set of, we'll say, mixed glass and Daedric armor, and he's got an enchanted Dragonbone shield and Dragonbone one-hand axe.
Okay.
And he's just gonna main with those, because there's not these to switch out weapons is a pain. I don't think he's going to be over encumbered. Most over encumbrance comes from carrying around stuff you don't need. If he's only carrying, common items into the fight, those things, maybe a bow that he can, spend time switching out as the Arbiter is still at distance.
What kind of arrows is he carrying?
That's a good question.
Is it bow or crossbow?
It's a bow. It's, hand bow. Let's say this Dragonborn is into enchantments. He's got it's been a while since I've played with different bows. I forget the different bows. Let's say he's got a Daedric bow and Daedric arrows enchanted for poison damage.
Okay. And is the axe have any kind of? Because you mentioned the shield having enchantment, but you didn't mention the axe.
Let's see.
Just asking.
No. I mean, it's a good question, right? Let's say it's enchanted for fire damage.
Okay.
The armor. What was the armor? I know the shield is dragon bow.
I'm gonna say
Glass and
mixed, I'm gonna say a set of mixed glass and Daedric armor. So maybe he's got glass helmet, glass breastplate, and Daedric boots and gloves. Because I feel like it's a little bit of a cop out to be like, oh yeah, he's got max armor you can get in the game. Because the Arbiter is just coming in with what he's
the ceremonial
standard
armor.
supplied with.
Yeah.
It's not even standard. It's the ceremonial armor. Sean, do you have any?
So I guess my question is I'm not a big Skyrim guy. I know what Dragonborn looks like. What's our height disparities here? What's the size disparities between the two?
Arbiter is canonically almost 8 foot tall.
Yeah, Arbiter's gonna be taller.
He's taller than
Dragonborn.
I'd say
6 foot, 6
I'd
foot.
say arguably he's faster too.
Yeah, the Dragonborn is
Dragon
Well,
depends
he's
on his class.
depends on his class, depends on his your exact chosen race and build of Dragonborn too. If you go, I guess let's go with like the classic Nord type of Dragonborn.
So
Yeah,
average human speed.
Average human speed, maybe a little bit above average because he's he's
Special.
special, he's fit, but he's not like gazelle crazy fast.
He's not Flash.
And he's probably a little bit taller than average. He's probably like between 6 and 6.5 feet tall.
Okay.
But yeah, Arbiter's definitely gonna be.
I was gonna say, so we got about a 2 foot disparity, so that's about 1.5 feet reach if it comes down to hand-to-hand combat.
The armor that he's wearing, I'm not too worried about that because in the Halo games, the energy sword, the only thing it can't cut through is that super thick steel that like the ships are made out of and the buildings are made out of. Like Master Chief's armor, the energy sword can cut right through. So the Marines, they don't really have armor, they don't count. But other elites and stuff, it can cut through their shield and then their armor. And that's the other thing, he's got the overshield. So even if you attack, get in range,
He still has shield.
you have to get through the shield and then the health.
Yeah,
And
the
then-
overshield is tough.
And the other thing, you mentioned the shot with the grenades. If he lobs a grenade, you shout it back. He lobs a grenade, you shout it back. You've got one shout left for the rest of the match, and it's not a full power shout.
No, but I feel like that's okay to do because what's one shout going to do against the Arbiter? It's going to that final remaining da shout is going to push him back some distance. That could get you out of a tight place if he's in really close, but you're going to have to get him close to end him anyway.
And that's the other thing I think goes in hand with the Arbiter. Regardless, you've got to get close to him to kill him, and he is built for both range and hand-to-hand combat. Because that plasma rifle, if you try to pick him off with the bow, he's just going to keep dancing around, picking you off with that plasma rifle.
Right.
And then if you get close, the Predator draws.
Now, the Dragonborn though can have access to health potions. So maybe even if the Arbiter gets in close and does some damage to him, he can re-up some of his health and maybe wear the Arbiter's armor, maybe wear down the Arbiter's energy shield that way. Get a couple good hits in on the Arbiter's skin or underneath, in the gaps between his armor himself, that damage is going to be a little bit more longer lasting until the energy shield.
I'm just going to throw that in as the judge here. While yes, the Dragonborn does have that, in the Halo series, both the Arbiter and Master Chief, when not in combat, after the first game, and other than Halo Reach and Halo 1 and then 5 and on, there were health kits, but as of 2, there were no health kits. They regenerated their health if they were not in combat. And same with the shield. So if the Dragonborn's given the Arbiter time, he's recovering his wounds just as well. That's the kind of neutralizing ability there.
And again, you gotta get in close to end him.
I know, yeah.
And
And
eventually
less than a full shout in close combat isn't gonna, touch the overshield or his armor or natural health.
They'll stumble.
because
I know, man.
the
I'm
Arbiter-
trying to think
the
of
Arbiter
what-
got to where he's at, not just because he's an elite, but because he's an elite fighter as well. That's one of the top ranking religious positions. So he's like spec ops to them. Like they send him in, we got a
Yeah.
false prophet, lead this team, go take him out.
I'm trying to think what items or abilities from Skyrim you could cherry pick that the Dragonborn could have that could help him get out of it. Because if he has depends how magical he wants to go. If he's got scrolls and stuff that can
And that takes the spot of the weapons then. Like instead of the axe,
Right,
you
well,
have to equip that.
I mean, he can carry both, but yeah, he'd have to switch it out to equip it.
So I'm going to give you a couple moments to think about that, Joe. Andrew, any final argument pieces that you want to make in favor of the Arbiter?
In favor of the Arbiter, Dragonborn's definitely got the armor, and I'd probably give him the strength advantage as well, just because most of the suits there, they deal with a high strength unless you're going for like a magic build. But the Arbiter's got the speed, he's got the invisibility and the overshield. So even if Dragonborn can land some hits, Arbiter's essentially got 2 health bars to the 1 the Dragonborn's got. And that energy shield the energy sword is going to wear down and destroy his objects a lot faster than the Arbiter's weapons are going to be taken out. I mean, eventually the Arbiter's stuff does run out of ammo, run out of energy shields, but to last that long in battle, I don't think the Dragonborn could do it. Especially if, like I said, the Arbiter would use his grenades first, in my opinion, but if he saves those and you get into close battle, it's a plasma grenade.
Yeah,
If he's just red tape,
if he can just stick one on you and move away, yeah.
So, Joe,
That's
final
it's just that
argument?
arsenal is.
It's a hard argument to make. I feel like under preferred, ideal conditions, if the Dragonborn can get the Arbiter in a stealth archer type of situation where he can pick down some of his energy shield from a distance until the Arbiter finds him and then really comes for him. Use the element of surprise against him. I feel like he's got a shot. I feel like it's not entirely one-sided. It seems like an uphill battle, I feel like he's got options to counter, to possibly counter in every way what the Arbiter has. So I feel like this is not guaranteed one way, but potential, more evenly balanced than you might expect.
Sean, do you want to take the first vote? Or I was saying, because I have my own thing.
So for me, going into this battle, the seating on this one's kind of perfect. I would say that these are very evenly matched characters.
Definitely.
The biggest thing going into this is it is a literal David versus Goliath matchup. The problem being is in this case Goliath has a shield. And the overshield is a huge proponent in this matchup. I would say that the Dragonborn would have had a much easier task if there was no shield. Bringing that shield in I think it's not only a game changer but a deal breaker. I gotta get this one to the Arbiter.
And no lie, so Andrew can attest, I'm a huge fan of Halo. The Arbiter is one of my favorite characters in general. But when my question that I asked you about the Dragonborn, what kind of enchantments, that could have been the big change, because I know 2 of the enchantments that you can put on weaponry is health drain and stamina drain. And if you had put either one of those, I would have said there's a possibility, because if you cut the Arbiter once with the health drain, his health is slowly deteriorating. He will die without you having to strike another time, because it'll be a constant damage. If it was stamina, that could have worked against the shields, or just weaken him so he wouldn't be able to run away as quickly. But you chose fire, and while fire is really effective, that was the killer for me. Was if you had chosen a different enchantment for the weaponry, like the poison arrows, that was perfect. But again, with that shielding issue, that was the problem. So if you got his shields down and then hit him with a poison arrow, that would be the only way I could see that victory. But yeah, if you had had your weaponry also being health drain or stamina drain, the Arbiter wouldn't be able to do as much, and that would give you that opening to do more damage later.
And it's been too long since I've played Skyrim because I totally forgot about those possible enchantments.
Those
That's
are
what I was
legitimate.
going for with the fire. Was,
Yeah.
like some kind of
It
continuous
made
damage.
sense, but yeah, like I said, if you had gone with something that drains simply by being in contact or being nearby, you would have had it. But the fact that it's fire and you have to make that impact, that was the killer piece for that.
I think the summary here is that the Dragonborn is a much more variable or malleable character than the Arbiter is.
Very much.
So it really depends on
The
your
build,
exact build of Dragonborn.
And that's why we specified, that's why I asked those clarification questions of what equipment is he having, what enchantments, because if he comes in with freezing damage and stuff, that could also turn the battle, but it's like your choices that you made. So that's why I was like, it was very much up to that decision. If you had chosen a different enchantment for the axe and the bow and arrow, I would have definitely been like, Dragonborn has to get it. But unfortunately, with the loadout that you did, I have to give it to Arbiter. The energy shield, plasma, grenade, and the shield itself, those were the killers.
Hopefully there's a fan out there in the comments who can specify,
A perfect build to take him out.
Ideal anti-Arbiter build.
That
would be impressive,
The Skyrim game is though. Like if you're going against Draugr, your loadout is going to be a lot different than
Then against a dragon, or the blades, or
and this is how you get over encumbered, right? Is because you carry
everything
around
for
every
every situation. And that's why we were specifying all those things. So that's exactly what we're trying to get to.
If the Dragonborn knew, it's very setting dependent too, right? Like if a typical Dragonborn build, who has all these different things for every occasion, knows you might go up against the Arbiter with sufficient prep time, I think you could really, pick the right things and really defeat him.
Yeah. So like I said, I think the Arbiter is winner here.
Arbiter moves. It was a close fight.
It was, and I gotta say, I personally,
I could have chosen
That could have been a match in the finals. Like
Yeah.
it literally could have been.
with the right mods, you can actually do this in Skyrim, because I have a mod for energy swords in my Skyrim, and it's one of those. They're a very overpowered sword, but it's possible to test that out.
Arbiter's weapons weren't what gave him the edge.
It was
invisibility and overshield.
It was the fact that shield that made the difference. And you know what? Looking forward to, so we have our first next round pick, which is Banjo-Kazooie versus Arbiter. Honestly, I'm just saying now, I'm the Banjo-Kazooie person, and I'm thinking Arbiter's going to win simply because of that shield. That's going to come back into play.
Yeah.
Much like the Golden Feather invulnerability is going to be a big factor here.
Yep.
This is going to be an interesting matchup when we get there. But
next up will be Kratos and Captain Blast.
This is going to be a very interesting and possibly very short one.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm lucky. I'm gonna vote right now. I'm judging for this one because I didn't play enough of either game to be able to defend either one. So I am automatically declaring I am a judge.
Same here. Okay.
All right.
Well, fuck that.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Definitely join
Comment.
us tomorrow. Comment if you like it. Tell us how much you hate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.